Hey guys, hi, I hope you're doing great. Well, that has been a very, very interesting period last week indeed. That dynamic interaction around my previous video on the outcome of the US presidential elections, which has had over 7,700 views to this point. Thank you very much. It's interesting because I'm sure you would have noticed the massive vitriolic attacks that had happened, not only between the candidates, but boy, oh boy, if we were ever going to vomit after a hangover, it had to be the venom of public criticism that just projectiled over both of those candidates. Oh, my word. So while all of that hate speech was flying around from loose cannons all over the globe, it triggered some constructive thoughts for me, which I hope you'll find helpful too. I got to thinking about Jesus saying that we speak out of the abundance of our hearts. Do you know that? In other words, what we say with our words reveals what is in our hearts. He said it like this. He says, it's not what goes into a man's mouth that defiles a man, but rather what comes out through his lips. And a lot of people, a lot, should have been wearing some big bibs for days. And we're all very good, really, quite sophisticated at covering our venomous opinions up until the right squeeze is on or the right pressure is on, and then whoops, we're throwing up all over town and everybody is running for cover. Well, in one of Paul's writings in Romans in the scriptures, he addresses a whole bunch of bad losers who were mouthing off at others with vicious criticism. And he says something to this effect. He says, those people may be on a dark spiral downwards, but if you think that leaves you on high ground where you can point your finger at others, think again. Every time you criticize somebody, you condemn yourself. It takes one to know one, he says. Judgmental criticism of others is a well-known way of escaping detection in our own crimes and misdemeanors. And I think everybody's tagline these days is, don't judge me, yes? Would you agree? But how much judgment went on in that raucous fracas and its aftermath? You would think that a world that lives by that famous mantra may be a little hesitant to throw missiles, but no way, baby. It was free for all, no holds barred, and the gloves were off, and boy, the horns were out, weren't they? So here's what that tagline really means and where it actually comes from. Jesus said it in the Gospel of Luke, and he said, be merciful to others as your Father is merciful to you. Don't judge others, and you won't be judged. Don't condemn, lest you be condemned. Because the measure that you use to judge others, it's going to be measured right back to you. It's a kind of sowing and reaping thing. He says, can the blind lead the blind? Won't they both fall in a ditch? And then he goes on to explain that by saying, how can you say to another person, let me take the speck out of your eye, when you yourself don't see the huge log that is in your own eye? First deal with your own log, Jesus said, and then you can help others take the speck out of their eye. Just the other day, I was driving out of a stop street. I was in no particular hurry. And as I turned out into what I saw as a clear road, suddenly right next to me, there was another car that came to a screeching halt right alongside me. Well, I apologized profusely and I felt terrible. But guys, we all have blind spots, things that we just don't see about ourselves, as well as prejudices that we crucify others with. People say, well, everybody has a right to their own opinion. But my encouragement to you today is to say of others what you would love others to say about you. I like to think of opinion like this, like an op and an onion, like operating on an onion. You're going to cause a lot of tears with that. Rather let your life speak. Otherwise, you'll just be viewed as opinionated, and that's not cool. Here's a good rule of thumb that can save you from being a jerk. If you have some constructive criticism to give, then make sure you've constructed something. In other words, if you're going to climb in the ring with the heavyweights, then make sure you have some weight behind you. Otherwise, talk is cheap, right? Okay, so here's my personal invite for you to join us at Creed Church tomorrow, 10 a.m. in Durban at the City Lodge Hotel. And I want to apologize for last week's live stream on Facebook. Apparently it went out without sound. I am so sorry. We'll do better this week, I'm sure. Well, God bless you, And thank you very much for hearing me. Keep it clean, guys. Cheers.